Hey, what's good? I'm Isaac Lee, and we back talking more about Invincible episode 5 and 6. I know it's been a minute, but let's get right into it. So we got Invincible Mark Grayson. He's really trying to find this whole work-life balance with him being a superhero and also trying to have this social life being a teenager, of course. He's late for everything. Even the main girl he's trying to really have a relationship with, Amber, every engagement that they try to plan for, he's late for it. Even being late for his job at Burger Mart, which ultimately he ends up just quitting that job. He's like, you know what? I don't really need this. He's even late for, of course, getting to school, which is interesting that the principal happens to be Principal Winslow and it's voiced by the same guy who played Carl Winslow on Family Matters. So that was that was a nice little callback. I don't know how many people caught that, but that was interesting. Aside from that, when he's training with his father's all about looking at the big picture, and there's a scene where he's out in space and his father is with him as he stops this asteroid coming to Earth, and he's able to stop it, but it takes so much out of him because, again, he's inexperienced, and his father's like, oh yeah, you did good for your first try, but that was just a small one. I did a bigger one that was the size of Texas. So he already has this ideology, he's being taught this ideology to always look at the bigger picture. But in episode 5, it focuses on this other hero. He's not a villain, not really a hero. I guess you'll call him like an anti-hero. I'll put him in that category, called Titan, who, as soon as you see him, you're getting Luke Cage vibes. Let's just be honest right from jump. You're getting Luke Cage vibes, and basically he wants to enlist the help of Invincible to take down this kind of like crime boss. His name is Machine Head, who again is taken from the Netflix Luke Cage show, Cottonmouth. So he basically enlists his help, but when he does that, in a way he kind of guilts him by the fact that he knows he's just a teenager, he's inexperienced. He brings up the fact that, oh, you're just a rich kid from the suburbs, and how, oh, this must be easy for you to just fly over stuff. How about I show you things that you don't see that's down on the ground level? And he's telling him about how he's trying to make a better life for his daughter and things like that. Ultimately ends up with this big fight at at this building where the crime boss is, and the crime boss, he had this little chip to where he could see all these little, I want to say quantum entanglements, where he could see like all these different possibilities of what could happen. He knew that was gonna come. He got his own team of villains, one of them whose name was like Battle Beast. He's literally a beast. He takes out the whole squad of not just Titan and Invincible, but also the new Guardians of the Globe. He takes out all of them, but he really just nails it in with Invincible. He has there's some type of hammer, is like a Thor-like hammer, and he just kept smashing Invincible to the point that you find out in the next episode that he was just kind of taken out. He's in a coma for 6 days, and there was a couple people that you thought died, but then you find out in episode 6 they didn't really die. They still kind of survived, but they were just in a coma for a little bit. What was it, Monster Girl or something like that? Monster Girl and who's the veteran old guy who doesn't really have any superpowers? I forgot what his name was. He's the guy you saw take off his suit and try to charge Battle Beast, and then got his arm broke, and then he was all slung across the room and everything like that. So you find out that, man, you really find out that the guy was just using him, because when Invincible is all beaten up, he's all like, yeah, I hope you make it. I had to do what's best for me. And then just like in the season 2 of the Luke Cage finale, where you see him all in a suit and he's taking over the same building where Machine Head was, you saw Luke Cage do the exact same thing with Cottonmouth. When he takes over the same club, you see him in a suit. I'm gonna make sure to put those suits, those pictures up. But it's interesting how he basically just used them for. He's basically just the means to an end. And I understand where he was coming from, but it was almost like his father was right. His father was right and not trusting him. Interesting thing about his father is that his father saw the whole thing. Right before Mark Grayson passed out, he's looking up through the ceiling and he sees his father, and kind of faintly you hear him call for him a little bit. That was just interesting about him just being inexperienced and having to be aware of certain people's motives, and that everybody who asks for your help, they're not doing it for the most righteous reasons. And when you're inexperienced, it's easy to really trick you because you don't know all the the tricks of the trade. So then we get into episode 6, and now let's talk about Debbie. Debbie, she's really on the case when it comes to finding out what happened to the original Guardians, and she really knows that Nolan is hiding something from her. And she finds the bag where Nolan's first suit was all torn up, because remember when he got I don't want to say he was beaten up, but he allowed himself to take enough damage to where it looked like he was attacked also. And when they was at the hospital, he was very aggressive about, give me my suit, that's mine, it belongs to me, give it to me right now. And she ends up finding it in a garbage bag, and it still has all the blood and stuff on it. And here's the funny thing about it, she knew to send him away long enough. She sent him away to get something in another country and she knew exactly that he was going to be back in 20 minutes. I was like, for her to know the exact time that it was going to just be 20 minutes, I'm like, how many times has she sent him away on some BS and it just and it just so happened to be in 20 minutes. And I mean, when it comes back in those last few seconds, it goes 3, 2, 1, Nolan hits the ground and she just kicks that bag with his costume in it just under the counter. And then in episode 6, you know, we see her going to the tailor, and the tailor is able to take that same suit and he's able to analyze it to see all the traces of blood, and he's able to find out like, okay, who attacked who with what. And when he goes to the earliest or the oldest stains on it, it happens to be on his glove, and that's when he makes the conclusion that, okay, Nolan struck first. Nolan was the one that killed the Guardians. She finally has all the proof that she needs, but she's upset by the fact that Nolan kept this from her the whole time. The whole time. It's like after all this, he was trying to charm her at one point, talking about how, oh, Cecil never liked me, so he's just trying to put it off on me, or maybe it's Damien Darkblood. Like, nah, it was you the whole time, dog. It was you the whole time. And at the end of the episode, you know, she's just having a bottle of wine, and then Nolan comes home and she's basically telling him like, I know it was you, stop lying to me. And then at the end of the day, he's just, you know, sitting on the he's sitting in this couch and he's just has his head in his hands, just like, man, what do I do with this information afterwards? Because the tailor knows what happens, Debbie knows what happens. At this point, the only person who doesn't know is Mark Grayson, who again is still trying to work out this whole work-life balance. In episode 6, we see them try to have a little moment where they just get away and they try to like visit this university to try to see if it's a nice fit for him and things like that, just to have a little bit of normalcy. But again, a situation pops up where he has to be invincible, and still he hasn't told her that the reason he can't always be there or the reason he's always late is because he's invincible. He hasn't really told her just yet that no, he has this whole superhero life and that his father is Omni-Man, and he just hasn't broken it to her. And since she doesn't know he's invincible, she's thinking he's just a flake. And because he hasn't explained it to her, it's like he's burdened by this feeling of, okay, she doesn't understand my reasons and she's gonna see me in a different light than what's really true. I'm curious, I'm like, at what point in time is he gonna break it to her, and how is she gonna take it? Is she gonna take it well? Is she not gonna take it well? I'm just really curious to see where this goes. But yeah, but that's just me catching up on episode 5 and 6. I should have had this up sooner, sorry, but at the end of the day, those are just my thoughts. But what are yours? And if you like what I had to offer, hit that like and subscribe at the bottom. I'm Isaac Lee. This is The Rundown.